Traditional Korean pottery. Maybe the other one was Korean as well. That's a bit loud. This making clay, literally making the clay to start with, that's fair play. Making a big old pot there. Quite a lot going on here. Hang on. Alright. We've got the digger. So they work on site where the clay is, I'm guessing. Like, they're not buying it in, they're just digging it out of the ground outside. So like, is this like a mining operation where once you finish using the clay in the area, you move on? Or like, you know, is there endless clay? Like, you're just literally digging up the ground and selling it later on. Like, so eventually you run out of Korea because you've turned it all into pots. I haven't thought this through. You think you've watched this? It came out 11 months ago, so you've had time to. That goes in. Got that, I understand that. On the conveyors, having a wash. Probably get the big stones out. Loads of like angry machinery going on, isn't there? That's been winding for days. Probably more than days. I don't really know what's happening here. Are these like discs of clay that have been pressed? I'm a bit confused why the discs, but discs, maybe that's the perfect amount of clay you need to make one of those pots or some shit. Oh, no, that split it up as it went through that wire. It split it into pieces randomly. So the disc is now chopped into chunks. And it's all falling into a big musher. I don't think they needed to make it into discs. I don't know what the disc thing is. Maybe they were squeezing it or some shit. It's coming out the musher now anyway. And it's going to come out in great big bricks. Well, they're going to cut it into bricks. And someone's job is to wait for it to extrude and then cut the brick. And you have to do that every 30 seconds or so as it extrudes. And you can't stop because otherwise it will go out and fall on the floor and you'll lose your job and everyone will be cross. So while that is extruding, you have to stand there and pack those bricks just until it stops, until you've run out of clay. So that must be fun. And then you get to drive, if you're lucky, you get to drive the forklift and not hurt anyone while you move it into, it's just clay blocks really, isn't it? Wet clay blocks. And what are they doing there? This fella, you brought him another, he's thought, I've nearly finished this tray of blocks and now you've brought me another tray of blocks, you fucker. I thought I was done for the day. And he's cutting up some big clay and adding it to the, this doesn't look right. What are you doing with your random cutting of the clay? Oh, he knows. He knows. Sorry about the adverts. I feel bad. He knows that he's putting them in there. He's squashing them in with this machine. So the machine's like just, you don't have to do it by hand like on the wheel like Ghost. That thing just does the thing for you. That looks a bit like a rudder of a ship. It just gives you the perfect angle and size and shape, but and scrapes off the inner bit. So it squashes it onto the outside, scrapes off the inner bit. There's your pot. That's the inside bit, main. And it's got some top bits here. Look, that's going on over here. He knows how much he wants. He's used to doing it. So don't worry about them being square shaped like we came out of the machine. You just take them at random shapes. Whatever you do is fine. You know what you're doing. Squash it in. Give that a good squash. I mean, it's kind of amazing, isn't it? Humans have been perfecting this over years, like quite a few years. But the simple concept of getting some mud off the ground and then squashing it into shape, letting it dry, maybe even drying it near the fire or in something quite warm, and utilising it. Cookware, tools. Not tools like chisels, but you know what I mean? Like humans create tools, like being able to store water. You know what I mean? Still doing it now, maybe more for decorative purposes, or maybe these are going around for actual, you know, jugs, I don't know. But it turned into an industrial process at some point. But the simple core idea, they're still digging that mud up from outside, the ground outside, which I still find quite intriguing. Fucking making loads of them. Big pots. I wonder if these are for gardening or if these are for, you know, putting stuff in. What do you think? Yeah, mud bricks still dried in the sun, yeah. Like, and as human beings as well, I guess in some way we're still drawn to these, like, people like earthenware pots, don't they? Like in their garden or whatever. Like, just something simple and tactile about them, and, you know, we're still drawn to these items just out of aesthetic value, like we like them, do you know what I mean? He's got a system there for rolling those over, quite clever. Although an industrial accident waiting to happen there, someone's leg could go if that fell on you. He's got his system. He's got to move every one of those bad boys. They got him a trolley eventually, but for years he was just doing them one at a time by hand. What's happening now? Now it's on the spinner. Don't try and blag that you made that by hand though. Like, we all saw you squashing it. Just going to give it the finish. Give it the authentic looking finish. We saw you squashing it though, so I saw you squash it, so don't... What? What's this now? I didn't know it was going to be sexual. Careful. We're on YouTube. Well, we're on Twitch, but we'll upload this to YouTube. It's a handle, so there you go. Now you know where the term love handles comes from. They look a bit more man-made, don't they? I mean, hand-finished, like, rough, random handles. That's his only, like, main bit of, like, his personality on it. And he's not bothered to make sure they look right. Just fucking put a handle on it. Make it look like a sausage, get it on there. He's fed up with them. He's done enough handles today. What's this bit now? It's going in there, whatever that is, the chocolate dip. It's getting chocolate dip at the end. Maybe that's like a glaze. Chocolate dip. They're not going in the kiln. I haven't seen this go in the kiln yet. Presumably it's still relatively soft. I'm expecting, because it was clay, and then they squashed it into shape, and then they did the, like, hand finishing. So I'm assuming at this point you could still probably squash that. Like, if you fell on it, and like, it's going to squash, isn't it? More of these heavy bits of stone that they use to produce the shapes. This is going to squash. I can see this coming. Spinning and squashing. I didn't see the spinning coming. Spinning's new. It's like a pie. Wait. You bear in mind, right, if you're watching me now, and you're watching this, I think this is okay for content. You know, it's interesting, I'm commentating, but I'm not really adding a lot here. I'm literally like a sports commentator, just stating the facts and the obvious. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate. If you don't like that and you're thinking he's just saying what he can see, I get it. Feels like a blag, doesn't it? I'm enjoying myself. We're enjoying it. Just chill. But I get it. I'm not really adding much here. I don't really have much to add. I spy it and I say it. That's all. Anyway, look. We're all having a good time here. Look at all the different kinds. They're not glazed. I didn't see them go on the kiln either. What's happening now? Those handles are rubbish. Even that guy that was stacking them felt to try and shape up that handle and fix it up a bit. But that's rubbish, that handle. Those handles need redoing. This is for the video as well. What's happening here? They're on some sort of trolley. Automatic system. Are they getting painted, or are they going to go through an oven? I think they need to go through a kiln at some point. This is with a kiln, won't it? Or the ones behind them look all black. Maybe they're getting glossed. Oh no, okay, it looks hot. This is the hottening. But they're coming out with black glaze. So maybe, I don't know how that happened. Maybe that glaze they dipped on it reacts with the heat. But maybe, I mean, I'm assuming now they're brittle and, you know, they sound metallic. How's this happened? Looks like the garden centre now. I mean, this is pots for garden centres, isn't it? For having plants in and shit. You're not putting your water, food and carrying around your drinks in that, are you? Get up there. He's stood on the... You're not supposed to be stood on the forklift when they're driving it around. Still moving the bastards by hand. I'd be well fucked off with that. I'd be like, look, we've got all these forklifts and all this machinery, and you want me to get up there and move them by hand over to that and go around on the forklift. What's the fucking point? Endless stacking of these fucking pots. That's what the warehouse looks like, 24/7. Thanks for watching. Do you want to buy a pot now? Maybe not. No one's trying to sell them. Just, you shut up. Let's have a look at the most popular. The most popular one is making oil drum cans. It can't be. I don't want to hear about, like, a samurai sword. That's interesting, but it's bashing and hammering. Go board. Okay, we'll watch this. This is carving. This is going to be relaxing.
Job done.
Thanks very much. I'm not having this, whatever it is. It's you fucking stupid thing. I said this would be relaxing. It's not relaxing. It's all saws and hammering. It's more hammering. Right, fuck you. Oh, hammering. Who said anything about hammering? Okay, this is better. This is incense sticks. Look, it comes out as a big cake and they push it through the extruder. We like a bit of extrusion. We'll go with this. So that's incense. That can burn your house down. Be careful of it. Here we are out here in Japan. You've got me commentating. My sister's going to understand this. Right, my sister said to me the other day, she gets eggy about it, my sister does. Right, if I had to make that many pots, would I care about the handles? I would care even more about the handles, because it's all I have to put my love and care and craft into the job. Like, they go out there and they're out there forever, and they're always like that. Once they're done and they're through that machine, they're hard, and then they're out in the shops, out there in the world with my handicraft, just shit, just not good enough, just didn't bother. Or they're out there forever with, like, you know, someone one day says, you know, I really like the handles. Whoever's made these handles actually gave a shit. This feels really good. I like the way they're nice and even. You know, I just, yeah, for my own sense of well-being, I think I'd have to do a good job on the handles. Well, it's all you're doing. So fucking, if you can't be arsed with it, then just don't do it at all. I'm happy to say that as well. Like, if I can't be arsed with handles, I'd turn and say, look, I'm not doing any more fucking handles. Put me on the pot stacking or I'm off. And after 2 weeks of pot stacking, I'll be like, listen, I'm not going back to handles and I'm not pot stacking. What else have you got for me? But like, do you know what I mean? Like, if it's what you're doing, you might as well do it well. It seems like a shame to fuck it up like that and have it permanently out there in the world. As a roofer, we used to do some roofing jobs, and I've seen some shonked up shit. But when we did the jobs, we would always do a really good job. And, like, you know, no one can really go up there on the roof and properly check, but you know yourself if you're fucking up or doing it properly. It seems well wrong to just fuck it up and then walk away and say, right, well, that's fucked up there for a while. You know, let's just leave that. There was one time when we did a roof on a church, and there was a little front bit at the front of the church, had a couple of cracked tiles, and they said, just quickly jump up there and just replace those 2 cracked tiles on this. Like, it was like a little mini roof on this little entranceway, and I jumped up and I replaced them, but because the tiles we brought to replace the main roof were different from the ones on this little mini entrance, they didn't quite sit right, and that was okay for, I suppose, like, it was just like a little half inch out, But I have to drive past that sometimes, and I see that tile, and I keep thinking to myself, I wish I could swap that with a better tile. Like, we didn't have the tiles on the van on the day, so I just replaced it with one that was slightly out, and I live with that for the rest of my life.